Hundreds of presidentially nominated Senate-confirmed positions remain vacant to date. The vacancies in the Pentagon can adversely affect the execution of long-term national defense strategy. That's according to retired Air Force Colonel Wesley Hallman, a senior vice president for strategy and policy at the National Defense Industrial Association. Wes, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here.
So what are those Senate-confirmed positions that are vacant that you're most worried about?
Well, and that's a perfect starting off question. There are 61, roughly, positions that are presidentially nominated and Senate-confirmed in the Pentagon. And right now, 22 of those remain without nominees, so well over a third. And the ones that I would say for our association, and very important to the defense industrial base are those positions within the Undersecretariat for Acquisition and Sustainment. And right now, all four presidentially nominated Senate-confirmed positions in that Undersecretariat are not just unfilled, but don't even have nominees.
So this is now a problem from the White House. It's not really on the Senate side for confirmation.
Correct. So that's 100% correct, but realize that part of that process of coming up with a nominee is somebody that you think can get through that Senate process.
So I wanted to ask you about Senator Elizabeth Warren, because she had put a hold on some upper-level defense positions because she wants to end the revolving door, which is between public service and then going into defense contractors. Isn't that a valid concern?
It can be a valid concern, but remember, this is how our founding fathers set up our government. Our government was supposed to be, experts and people who wanted to serve coming into government, serving for a time period and then leaving, and bringing that expertise, bringing that viewpoint, bringing those skills to the job. And I will say that previous appointees with industry experience have done wonderful things for our national defense, our national security. Two really important ones would be, just recently, we had our Undersecretary of Acquisition and Sustainment, Undersecretary Ellen Lord. She was very, very effective. I will say that she carried the water of the Defense Department and its priorities with an iron fist, and we all appreciated that. She would come to meetings, she would be prepared, she knew what drove industry, and she knew what she could get from industry to provide capabilities to the warfighters. And I will say on the other side of the aisle, and in an earlier time period, Norm Augustine did many of the same things. Everybody knows Augustine's rules. The fact is, those rules and the way he used those in his senior positions in the Department of Defense benefited our warfighters.
So the senator lifted her hold, but she said, look, you can't go and work at a defense contractor for 4 years.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
Well, realize that is, I would say, well beyond what other senators are required to do when they leave office, which is only 2 years. Same with other senior members in Congress and senior members in the Pentagon as well. I will say that what you're asking these folks to do is really come into the government, work twice as hard for half as much, and then not be able to go back and earn a living for themselves, for their families, et cetera. And I would say that that's excessive, and I will say that also the data doesn't really point to that it's this very large problem that's impeding our national security. I would say it's exactly the opposite. The other thing is that you are disincentivizing service to our nation of the people that you do want to come in with again, important skills, important networks, et cetera, that will benefit our warfighters and our nation's security over time. That also includes a diversity of thought, a diversity of perspective, and also gender diversity. If you look at senior leaders within our defense industrial base, we have some amazing women that are leading some of our biggest corporations. Why you're not considering these folks because they happen to come from industry is beyond me. If you're just going to look at academia, the think tank world, you're going to have only one set of perspectives, and that will leave blind spots that I think will be disadvantageous to us. So
it's currently 2 years, and only for senior defense officials that have been involved in major acquisitions. Do you think that that's fair?
I think that's, some would say that's unfair. I think that aligns with other recusals in other departments and also within Congress. So I think if there's a common baseline of what that recusal should look like, and also underneath those recusals, what are the defining terms on that? Can you still consult with a company, but not actually lobby your previous contacts or those that you worked with? I think that's a valid way to mitigate some concerns of conflicts of interest and otherwise. But I think when you go to 4 years, or you can't even under your breath industry, I think that's the wrong answer. Which is,
I would imagine that that's kind of difficult, because that's what their experience is in. Where else are they going to work except in the defense industry?
Exactly, and that's the problem. Is you want that experience back on the other side too, because you want them coming back to industry and saying, this is where the department's going, or these are the capabilities that are required. You want that flow of information and experience both ways. I mean, there's exchange programs at more junior levels to get industry and government experience for rising executives, so they know what's driving the other side. So when you sit across from a table, you can have a beneficial negotiation that, again, ultimately ends up with better capabilities to our warfighters.
All right, well, Wes, let's hope that happens. Thank you very much.
Thank you.